All right, we're ready.
Thank you. This is John Kruger, President of the Board of Trustees of the Estes Valley Library District, and it is June 20th, 6:32 p.m. We're calling the meeting to order of our June 20th meeting, and we have no known citizen comments.
No, sir.
Okay. So we will move immediately to the consent agenda, which consists of the minutes of the Board of Trustees meeting of May 16th and the income and expense year-to-date report for May 31st, 2022. May I have a motion to approve?
I'll move to approve, John.
Okay.
I'll second.
Thank you. Dave moves and Kay seconds. Anyone have any item for edits, amendments, or anything to remove? No? All in favor of approving the consent agenda, please say aye.
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 Any
Aye.
opposed? Sounds like it's unanimous. Thank you. Don't forget to unmute when we're voting. That's probably going to be the only vote tonight, actually. We have a fairly limited agenda tonight. So I'll move to the strategic discussions and reports. The main thing I guess I have is there was some question regarding having the annual evaluation of Claudine in September. We had it on our work plan originally for the board meeting, but with some other movement of things, we feel that we can move to the September date of our study session and have executive session then. I've discussed it with Claudine. It is part of the new plan for all employees to move to their anniversary date for the appraisal. And I understand that this first transition year, if you will, it won't be a full 12-month kind of evaluation. And we won't have full program results, if you will, for the year. But Claudine seems to be comfortable, right, Claudine?
Ma'am.
With moving it to that time, and it may be a bit modified kind of evaluation for this year due to that. So any discussion about that anyone has? Okay, I appreciate the concern around, how much and what we will really be able to evaluate her on. She'll submit her evaluation in August for us. And we should have that by the time of the board meeting, I would hope, the August board meeting. And then we'll have the forms to complete as best we can and have that discussion. Part of the advantage of this is that it will allow us, as we move into the budget season, working for the coming year, to actually already have that worked out instead of waiting till right before we have our final vote on the next year's budget. So hopefully it will work in our favor to move that direction.
John, I should have that to you. I'm telling myself this publicly, so I do it. I should have that to the board August 15th. It would just be easier for you to have it 2 weeks in advance.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just
very good.
Getting that in the notes, Joe. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's see. I thought I had something else.
I believe you wanted to review the revised meeting agenda topics.
Yeah. Thank you. So, yeah, we have our meeting schedule of events. And we've moved, as I mentioned, that the rolling 10-year financial forecast plan to August, the study session in August, that's August 4th. And the regular meeting in August is around staff retention primarily, as well as any other regular business. And we anticipate having 2 policy sets ready for review at the August meeting. Isn't that what you told me?
No, but
No?
close, John. We will have a policy set ready for review. Oh, I see what you're saying. You're right. And then we'll have a final set, the circulation set in October. So yes, you're
Yeah.
right. I apologize. Yep.
But maybe it's just the one policy set then in August. Okay.
Right.
And then, as said, the study session for September, since we won't have this community needs assessment completed yet, we will move to an executive session for that and do our annual evaluation of the director. September regular meeting. First draft budget review is due October 6th study session. The official draft budget would be ready for us for our October board meeting. November study session would be our first public budget hearing. At this point, it appears I will be gone, have left out of the country, perhaps, if everything works out. And so we'll be asking David Hemphill to lead that meeting and, of course, the public hearing as treasurer, which he has done in the past. Then we'll have our second public budget hearing on November 21st, regular meeting. And we've now moved in the review of the results of the community needs assessment to the December 1st study session. And of course, we move up our December board meeting 1 week in order to adopt our 2023 final budget so it can be submitted to the state before December 15th. Okay. Anyone have any comments or questions about our remaining meetings? Okay. Lynn and I have discussed the planning towards setting officers for next year as far as a list for approval. Of course, that approval does not happen until the January board meeting, but she has indicated she's talked at least with most of you, if not everyone. And so come September, we'll have a couple of motions around nominating committees and so forth. So that'll be on that agenda as well in September. Okay. I think that covers what I had that I wanted to be sure that we discussed. And so we will move to the Finance Committee. David, you have any reporting you'd like to add?
Just the normal report, John, other than you startled me with talking about 2023 already, so I'm not quite ready for that. But we had our finance committee, and other than the normal monthly review of finances, of which there were no questions or anything that needs explained, we did continue talking about the revolving 10-year plan. And as you know, it's been the discussion was postponed from June until August, as you just said, John. The finance committee really felt this was pertinent to have the Larimer County estimates for tax revenue in the next couple of years as a basis for these reports. It was our thinking. Now, John, I will invite your comments because you're the one who knows most about this report. And I just wondered if your preference for the next year, we're not trying to set a precedent yet, but in the ensuing years, is it your preference to have this ready in June? Or what is your thoughts on that?
Well, what both Don Bryson and I did when we were treasurers is we felt that it was good to update that more than once during the year. So we typically did it a late spring update based on what we already knew. That primarily involved the actual expenditure information from the year before, because we would have that by then. We would not have any new numbers for revenue, but that was somewhat immaterial as we just had a projection. And then after August, revenue numbers come in from Larimer County, we would update the spreadsheet with those and plug in what we had been doing for our expenses, the 2% increase. If the staff don't feel like they really need that to help them get started with establishing expenditure numbers, then waiting till August is okay, as far as I'm concerned. But that'll be up kind of to the new finance committee and the new president next year.
Well, John, that's absolutely doable. In fact, Cindy already has that on the agenda for next May, for that to be our finance committee topic of the 10-year plan. So if it's the board's preference to have a couple of updates a year, as you said, maybe one in the spring with the expenses kind of known from the previous year, and then a future, that's absolutely doable. And I will ask Cindy, you agree with that, correct? Yeah. Okay.
The kind of spreadsheet that we created is pretty easy just to plug in, the more up-to-date numbers. And as far as revenues in the in-between years or every other year, they stay the same for the most part. I mean, they change a little bit, obviously, but the assessor doesn't redo assessments unless there's something new built. So it's only those new builds or tear downs and things like that. So we know that for 2023, for instance, the rate is going to change for residential. So we know it's going to go down. So it's going to be interesting this year to see just how much that goes down with no upward adjustments coming in from the assessor to speak of. So that's going to be the biggest thing. And I understand waiting this year for that actual number.
Well, yeah, other than the every other year normal reassessment of values, that does sometimes change too. So, but is this something we need to decide now, or I mean, as of now, we're set with the August discussion.
Yeah,
and we can discuss going into next year.
Exactly.
Whether to have the June. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Very good. Well, other than that, that was our main discussion, and I believe at this point we're gonna maybe have a discussion about the family and medical leave insurance program, and I will let C $ take care of that.
Okay, just before we move to that, everyone's taken a look at the budget status, where we stand on revenue and expenses so far this year. With what, 42% approximately of the year elapsed, we have a total expenditure around 39%. So we're well underspent so far this year also. And that includes some annual expenditures that are fully paid on the administrative side. So I guess it looks like to me that we very well could be underspent against our expense budget again this year. And part of that is we keep losing staff, right, Claudine?
Yeah, for the most part, it's about the personnel, and that is the pertinent stat, John, is the expense side, as the revenue side is quite uneven throughout the year. So,
okay.
But anyway, Cindy, I'll let you go ahead and present that about the Family Act.
Yep. Claudine and Cindy, however you're going to do that.
John, I'm going to do it like this. Thank you. Cindy?
Okay.
Thanks, you guys. Claudine did put an attachment in the email about the board meeting. It's kind of a different one. It's more of a break room attachment for a for-profit company. And I'm going to concentrate more on the local government, but a quick background. The main reason it's in the board meeting this month is because initially we were supposed to take action by July. This is a new it was Proposition 118 that was voted in by the voters in 2020. And it provides basically a short-term disability plan for all employees. It's a state-run program. It works just almost like a short-term disability plan, but it has a few other benefits, pays a few other benefits, such as caring for a family member, and most short-term disability plans don't cover that. It's just on the employee. So it's a little bit more expanded. It is run by the Department of Labor and Employment, which is the same department that administers unemployment. And it's supposed to begin January 1 of 2023, paying premiums, and everybody will pay in premiums for a full year to build up the reserve, build up the funding, and then benefits can't begin until January of 2024. The premiums aren't too bad. The employee side is 0.45. The employer side would be 0.45 for a total of 0.9%. The employer could have the option, or does have the option, to pay the entire premium if they so choose. So for-profit companies do not have a choice in this program. It will be implemented and everybody will have to pay in. But as a local government, we have options. The first option is basically to opt in. And if we opt in, our employees don't have a choice. They're in. We have the choice of opting out, but administering it for those employees who choose to opt in, or we can just simply opt out. This is a work in progress. The Department of Labor, they're kind of making up the rules as they go, but to give them credit with what they're doing a pretty good job, getting it organized and out there, and the millions of questions that are coming at them constantly. They're revising, they're working on it. There's webinars. So the main point is, if we decide to opt out, it requires board approval. First, that was supposed to happen by July. Now we have we have till December to make that vote, but we need to provide our employees 30 days notice of our decision. So we need to plan on, at least at the very latest, the November board meeting to take a vote if we decide to opt out. We had a meeting with the town just 2 weeks ago. I did, with the town HR department and then the other departments that join into their benefit pool. What they told us at that time is they do believe, they're pretty sure the town is going to opt out. They were going to have it on the most recent board meeting to go ahead and do that. I looked in the packet. I didn't see it on their agenda. So apparently they backed off on that a little bit. I don't know if all of the other individuals on the line, we had quite a few questions for them, maybe they hadn't thought of. But we do know that one thing the town is looking at within their benefits package is a short-term disability option through American Fidelity. And the rest of us requested, if possible, if we could actually talk to one of the representatives from American Fidelity to get our questions answered also. And Emily was going to see about getting that set up. And if they do offer a short-term disability plan, that would be rolled out before the end of the year. And there'd be a special enrollment session where employees, they don't have to wait until open enrollment in November. It would be available as soon as it's up and running.
But it would be optional.
Now that would be optional. Yes. Yes, which is beneficial to me because that way then the employees have a choice.
And if they choose, and the family, the state-run plan, the employer matches the employee contribution. Essentially, it's split between both payers.
That is
What
correct.
about the American Fidelity? Is if someone elects to have it, how is the premium paid?
It would be paid by the employee.
Fully?
Yes.
Well,
just like
it wouldn't have to be. I
wouldn't
mean,
have to be.
we could
choose.
choose, we could choose to split it also. They just want whatever number that they want per employee or family, right?
Yeah, we just want an option outside of this government-run program is basically what I'm looking for, especially.
Yeah. So does the town have a price from them?
Not yet.
From American? Oh, okay.
No, they did not have that much information to give us at this time. But knowing now that we don't have to complete anything by July, we have the rest of the year to work on it and figure it out, gave me a lot of room to breathe. I felt a lot better about it.
Good.
Thanks, Cindy. I wanted to add to the trustees, when you see the leave, the project that the HR team, Joanna, Cindy, and I have been working on with Grave Consulting, as we did the people who did the compensation survey. Just a reminder, they're under contract with us to review our leave options to make sure that they're competitive. And short-term disability, I am not with humor trying to remind you, we were planning short-term disability options before family emerged from the state. So I just, for perception reasons, I want to assure you, we were in pursuit of all of our leave options, including short and long-term disability, before the state. However, it became a bit of a hurry up game when family came out, and then we needed to change our timeline based on their timeline, and then based on the feedback they've received all across the state. Like they understand that as well as intentioned as the program is, and as important as it's going to be for very small and private, small and private, but small or private employers. Just a reminder that we're kind of on the same timeline as we were before family even showed up, but that it's important for you to know both of these things are happening at about the same time. And we will have a recommendation for you in August, just as we planned before, right? We're still going to have a recommendation with as much information as is available, because John, your question about what the town is pursuing, we don't know what that cost is yet. So
Yeah. Well, most of the rest of our benefits program for our employees are linked with the benefit program from the town, correct?
yes, sir,
Correct.
that is correct. And
So-
we are super grateful for it.
Yeah.
And I think they're grateful for us too, as middle-aged office workers, reducing the liability for the diversity of workers they have on the town.
Well, and it
But
adds to the total pool too.
it adds to their pool, but I just want to say, maybe we give them 10% gain, they give us a big gain by negotiating all of this. We're very grateful. So
Right.
Cindy, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off
No.
if I did. Okay.
Not at all.
So we don't know what they're talking to. It's American Fidelity, you said?
Yes.
We don't know what they're talking to them about as far as what the actual benefit would look like or what the cost is yet.
No, sir.
Not yet.
Because the benefit here with the state, it says up to 12 weeks, but then there's a range on 37 to 90% of the employee's weekly salary. So is that based on what the leave is based on, or is it something else?
I don't know.
Well, the 12 weeks kind of follows the FMLA, and then
Right.
extra weeks for childbirth or adopting a child. And most short-term disability plans have that. It's the 12 weeks, which is
Right.
3 months.
Right.
I don't think the range of weekly wages that the family program is offering is really very good. 37% would be more for the higher end earnings. The 90% is for the lower end earnings.
Oh, I see. It's based on what your salary is.
It's based on what your salary is, and the
Okay.
more you make, the less you're going to get on their plan.
Okay.
And I'm hoping, I don't know yet, that a plan through such as American Fidelity could do a little better than that and be a little better than that. And plus, we could, if we can get it up and running with the town, we can offer benefits starting January 1 of 2023, as opposed to
Right.
employees have to wait clear till January 1 of 2024 to get any benefits. So
Okay.
there's definitely some, I think it's very much worthwhile looking into our outside options before we decide on this family program.
Agreed. Anyone else have any questions for Cindy or Claudine on this topic? Or any suggestions or comments from past experiences?
I have, can you hear me?
Yes.
Just a question, just refresh me, Cindy or Claudine. Okay, first of all, why is the city opting out? Did I hear you say they're opting out at this moment? Or did I miss
That was, they're possibly opting out, was what they told
Okay.
us on the meeting 2 weeks ago. They thought it might be presented to the board as early as this month's board meeting, but I looked in the packet and I
Okay.
didn't see that was on the agenda. So apparently they haven't made that final decision yet.
Gotcha. Okay. And what is our consultant with Graves doing on this? Are they just leaving it out of the, assessment of benefit needs for our people, or are they using something kind of an average, or what are they doing regarding this new program that we're going to
They were
get
the
later
one
this
that-
year?
They were the ones that very, very first suggested to us, I can't believe you don't have a short-term disability plan. And we went, oh, I
Okay,
can't believe
yeah.
we don't have a short-term disability plan. We need to start looking into
Right.
that. So they were the one that
Right.
suggested in the first place. But as far, they're not an insurance company. They don't work with insurance companies. So they really weren't able to help us on, they could just give us other clients that they have on average, get this much benefits, maybe at this rate. They're really
Okay.
not able to help us with this. So we are looking
Okay.
to the town right now.
Right. I remember now. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Pete, do you remember what our prior company used to provide as far as short term?
Yeah. Short term was provided for by the company, period.
Yeah, but
And
at what kind of
it's
rates
based
and
on
what kind of
time.
costs?
Well, I don't remember the cost because they changed every year, but it was based on salaries
Okay.
and time service.
Okay.
Time service was in there as well in
Yeah.
terms of what you were eligible for in short term.
Yeah.
And long term was paid for by Shared, I think, if I remember right. God, it's been 12 years, but yeah.
Okay.
I do know also, Emily said that insurance companies, they found out so this family program offers a little bit more in benefits, a little bit wider net of benefits than a normal short-term disability plan would. But insurance companies now are looking at that wider net, because even for-profit companies, if they have their own plan and they can prove that it's at least as good as family and the cost isn't any more than family, then they can get it approved to keep their own plan or do their own plan. So insurance companies are working to adapt and help Colorado come up with some plans. But again, it's all happening pretty quickly, so nothing's set yet.
Yeah. So you really think that you can get the necessary information from American Fidelity and the town before the August meeting?
We can try our very best.
Right.
Okay.
No, that was a much better, my answer was no. So Cindy, that was much more diplomatic. John, I would say as soon as we know, I mean, here's the other option is there's three options, and very briefly is I'm unaware of any library district that has signaled that they're going forward with family because it's constricting. Cindy, can you confirm for the board, we can opt out, we can recommend that the board opt out now, but that doesn't prevent the board from choosing to go with it at a later date,
That is correct.
right? Like we're not keeping you from
We
this
can opt
forever.
out this year, but next year we could turn around and opt back in.
Correct.
Right.
So I just
But
wanted
we
to
would
give-
have to,
opt
our
in.
employees would have to wait a full year of contributions before they could get the benefit.
No,
No?
no, 2023 is the only year where they're building up the reserves. If we join in 2024 and start paying, they've got supposedly their reserves built up, because that was a question
So why
even just
would,
for,
Yeah, why would we opt
Why
in
would-
now then?
yeah,
Thank you, Cindy, for that. So just a reminder, option one is to do family. Option two is the is it beneficence of the town is to just hitch our wagon, and continue
Yeah.
to follow suit. So we don't want to be, too laissez-faire, but we're putting a lot of trust in it. And as a reminder, Cindy, it's the town also groups in Visit Estes Park, the fire district. So there are many districts
sanitation district.
sanitation
yes.
engaged. Okay. And the
Okay.
third is there are library districts in the state that don't have the largesse of the town being so kind
Right.
to us, and they negotiate with the Special District Association and which contract with brokers. I'm not saying SDA would do it.
No.
I'm saying there are other avenues. So we're taking the middle way right
Yeah.
now.
Okay.
And if that does not please the board, let us know now, because that's the direction I'm certainly recommending.
Lynn has something.
it sounds like there is a difference in benefit between what the town is probably looking at and what the family program provides. Is there a way to get a sense of how important those different benefits are to the staff? I mean, I'm kind of putting
I
it
hear
in
you.
the context of retention,
Right.
that we
So-
want to make sure we're doing
Right.
well by the employees.
So we don't know yet what American Fidelity might be offering with this family coming out. I'm saying when I Googled short-term disability plans in general, they don't offer, it doesn't cover caring for a family member. Covers everything else is the same. It's the caring
Okay.
for a family member. We don't know yet what American Fidelity might or might not offer. In light of family, they might be able to encompass that in. That's still one of the unknowns, one of the
Okay.
many unknowns. Yeah.
Thank you.
Anyone
Yeah,
else?
John,
Yeah.
John, back in our day, the short term was paid for, my recollection, short term was paid for by the company, and it was a mix of full pay, certain number of weeks, and then partial pay, a certain
Yes.
number of weeks.
Yep.
Based on time service. Yeah.
Based on time
Okay.
service. That's
Thanks.
right.
Yep.
Yep. Okay. Yes, Anne.
As a person who works for the school district and a person who's taken FMLA in their recent past, I think that 37% sounds like an absolute dream come true. Because I received $0 during my entire maternity leave. So I think that it's going to look glowing at first, because I got really excited when I heard that was the number, but I imagine as time goes on that will be a less savory number because it wasn't more than 0, right? There wasn't a comparison to put it up against. So while I got really excited at first, I do think that caution is the better route to take.
Okay. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
that. Anyone else? Okay. Well, I think there's all kinds of possibilities here for us to consider, and I appreciate Cindy and Claudine being so involved and trying to find out what both the town's going to do as well as any other options that might be out there for us. I don't know, like Claudine mentioned, maybe the Special Districts Association has a link for something that could be just as good as what the town came up with or better too. So we're members of that still, I believe.
We are.
So we ought to investigate with them too, if just throwing out the question to them is probably
I've been
enough.
on webinars with them. They're very actively involved in this with us also.
Great.
Definitely.
Very good.
Mhm.
If there's no other questions on that topic. Okay.
No, other than saying thank you for putting my name in there. I am as aware of family as you are. Cindy's really carrying this one. Thank you, Cindy, for all your legwork.
Yes. Okay. Great. Claudine, the rest of your report.
It's pretty short. And as ever, I'm happy, mostly just outed John for his outreach effort while we were in all-day staff training with the League of Women Voters. He did a great job of giving a summary, and it compares to others. I haven't watched the whole thing. I've watched about 30 minutes of it. So John, thank you for your part. I mentioned the growing movement of First Amendment auditors. We'll have a review of our policy in a very ordinary way, make sure we're adhering to the Constitution. I don't mean that lightly. It's a true point of the interpretation of traditional and limited public forums. What is the public library when it comes to a public space, and what are the rights of individuals within that space? So there's been a lot of written about this in library land, but of course we'll have our attorney review and make sure we're doing this properly. And then a light review of the library MOU with the Friends and Foundation. I don't want to steal any of Sarah's thunder, but I will say one thing, which is we did, with Cindy's help, make the deposit for the 5 units with wildfires, workforce condos. It'll be a year until they're ready, and we'll see what comes of that. But mostly I really want to thank the Friends and Foundation for the manner in which our funds, we have a global idea of what we're doing strategically. Some things change. This is one of them. So Sarah, and to your board, thank you. And perhaps you will brag a little bit later on the agenda of Friday night's event. So John, are there any questions I can answer for you or the board on my report?
Board? Any members?
have
Yes,
one.
Kay.
If it's not a big amount, but if monies were put as a deposit for the wildfire condos, has it been defined what program it was taken from?
Yeah, Cindy, can you remind me?
Right now we expensed it out of the strategic projects account.
So that's admin.
That's admin, yes.
Is that under our budget?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, our budget.
I thought you said the foundation stepped up and did that.
I'm sorry, I think I was not clear, Kay.
Okay.
By that I meant they reimbursed us for everything. So that was a reimbursed expense. So it did come out of our budget, but it's being coded as a Friends and Foundation reimbursement.
Okay.
Claudine clarified that the deposit was made in the Estes Valley Library District's name as opposed to the Friends and Foundation's name.
Okay, but the Friend and Foundation is going to reimburse.
Out of the 200,000 that they've promised to fund us this
Okay.
year,
That-
5,000 of that 200,000 is for this purpose.
Okay, but that then means that one of our programs that we were slating to fund with foundation money is now going to be reduced by 5,000. Has there been thought as to what takeaway it's going to be from?
From the strategic projects.
Okay, just general.
That administrative line
Okay.
item. So if you look at the budget under that, that would be reduced and replaced with this, correct?
Correct, John. So Kay, the actual project was we had originally budgeted close to $10,000 for EDI training for the staff. And what we ended up doing is a much more thrifty and self-directed program rather than flying in a sage on the stage. So it was, in my mind, a logical place to expend the
Okay.
funds
Okay.
and a place where we had space.
Okay, that's what I
It's,
needed. Thank
thank
you.
you for your
That was
questions.
gonna be
I'm sorry I wasn't
underspent.
more clear.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's great. Okay, thanks for the question. Anyone else have any questions for Claudine, staff? Okay, Sarah, please brag a little bit.
Thank you for all of you that came to the event. I hope you had a good time. We've received lots of compliments since the event, either through social media or through email or through phone calls or for coming into Cliffhanger. So hopefully that will result in dollars, and I will give you that update in August. I hope you all felt like it was a full event. We had attendance of about 240. Just to shock you, we were planning on an attendance of 300. So hopefully those empty seats were looked past, and hopefully everyone stays healthy.
Yeah.
It sure felt full to me.
Yes.
Yes.
I didn't see 60 empty seats anywhere.
We had planned on using the outside space more, but
Yeah.
because of the rain and wind, that didn't happen.
That didn't happen, right? So 240 in attendance, but tickets sold for 270 some?
Over that, yeah, right around
Oh.
300.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
So very good.
Mhm.
Anyone have anything else on that you want to share?
I'm not that I can think of at the moment, but I'll have a larger report with numbers in August.
Sure. Okay. So I was there, several of us were, and had guests, and I've had quite a number of people respond to me so that I wanted to pass along. Very positive comments, appreciating the very hard work that you put in, and with a few of the board members' help. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anyone else have any questions for Sarah in relation to anything around Friends and Foundation? Okay.
Can I, John? May I?
Yes, please.
Sarah, I don't know what your relationship is with the Stanley, but the gasp in the room when John and Annie acknowledged their donation of the space and the hors d'oeuvres really caught my attention. And I just want to say, John and Annie, I'm sorry Annie's not here. You guys were short and sweet. It was a great intro. And I worried that I oversold Craig Johnson as a speaker, and I did not.
No.
It was great.
That would be hard to do.
He was terrific. The energy was great. Sarah, I think there's a push and pull of being COVID responsible and safe and connecting with other human beings. And like you, I really hope we have an uneventful next 10 days of reporting. I really do. But I have to tell you, I think people were, hearts were full and they were energized. I think it was a really great event. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Any agenda items that we've missed? Lynn?
Did you want an update on the community needs
Oh,
assessment?
yes. I'm sorry. Did that not get on here?
It's on there.
Oh, it is on there. We skipped right past it.
us.
I'm sorry. We went to the other report first.
There's not a whole lot to say. Claudine has signed the agreement with SEA. We have a Zoom meeting scheduled with Aaron next week to talk about, roles and desired outcomes. What is it the specific questions we want to answer, make sure we're all on the same page in terms of things like the scope of work and what information he needs from us, what's the timeline. Ahead of that meeting, Kay and Claudine and I will meet to make sure we're in agreement on what are some of the specific things we want to answer. And briefly, the timeline is July is going to be spent designing the survey and getting everything ready to go out. Late July to late September is data collection, an online survey, and focus groups in the second half of that time. The end of September and October is their SEA's time to do analysis. We should have a draft of a report late in October and a final report by the middle of November, which fits with the schedule, John, that you laid out for board meetings, that we
Board
should
meetings.
be able to talk about that in December.
Okay. And so our strategic plan getaway, or however we plan that, will be after the first of the year.
Yeah.
So we'll be a little bit delayed on getting a new 3-5 year strategic plan, but that'll give us some very good information, hopefully, that we can utilize.
I think that's right.
Okay. Great. Sorry about skipping over that.
I'll think about forgiving you, John.
Okay, thanks. Okay, so now I'll ask again, is there anything that was not on the agenda that any board member would like to bring attention to? See no one seeking that. So upcoming events, Claudine will be out on vacation out of the office July 6th through the 18th on a very nice trip, hopefully. And Catherine will be sitting in for you.
Yeah, she'll actually be gone a few days as well, John, which, you know,
Okay.
that's Murphy's Law. But she'll be here most of the time, and you'll see in my auto reply something I haven't done in the past, but I'm just going to identify, if you're asking questions about the facility, please talk to this person. If you have IT questions, please talk. So I
Okay.
probably will spread the wealth in my absence.
And if there's anything that needs to be signed, Joe, Anna, or Cindy, I'm on the list for that. So, and I will be in town during that time.
Thank you.
Okay. Friends and Foundation have a celebration of Book Lovers Day at Cliffhanger on August the 9th. Do you have a time for that, or is it all day?
So it's all day when we're open from 10 to 6. And what it
Okay.
really means, it's one of our dollar sales.
Okay.
And hopefully we'll have some treats and some other fun things, but really just cleaning out our inventory.
Very good. And then our next, we will have no board meetings, study session nor board meeting for the month of July. We usually take that off, and we don't have any pressing business. And so our next meeting will be a study session on Thursday, August the 4th. And then August the 15th will be our regular board meeting. Thanks for your participation. Everyone stay healthy and safe.